Men forget the death of their fathers sooner than the loss of their inheritance. Niccolò Machiavelli. Let us begin with a truth few dare to speak aloud. Power is not taken by the noble. It is taken by the bold. It does not reward those who wait, nor does it comfort those who play by the rules written for fools. In the game of rule and ruin, the ruthless do not apologize. They calculate. They do not speak loudly. They act silently. They do not seek fairness. They seek control. You may ask, but is it not better to be kind, to earn loyalty through goodness? No, kindness, unchecked, invites betrayal. Mercy, when given freely, becomes weakness in the eyes of those who hunger for your place. Machiavelli understood this. He did not write for the virtuous man. He wrote for the one who wished to survive among wolves. The world is not fair, and the man who insists on fairness in an unfair world is not moral. He is doomed. The ruthless win, because they understand what others deny. Fear lasts longer than love. Dependence outlives loyalty. Perception is power, and control, real control, is not granted. It is seized. In this video, I will not teach you how to be liked. I will not teach you how to be admired. I will teach you what Machiavelli taught Princess, how to be obeyed. How to create stability from fear, command from silence, and dominance without apology. Prepare to enter a world where sentiment is discarded, and strategy reigns, where appearances are weapons, and mercy is a tool, not a virtue, where ruthlessness is not evil. It is necessary, because the throne is not protected by prayers. It is protected by power. A prince must learn how not to be good. Niccolò Machiavelli. Let us begin with the most misunderstood concept in leadership: mercy. The modern world teaches you to show it often, use it freely, and grant it to win hearts. But those who lead with unchecked mercy do not rule. They serve. In Machiavelli's world, mercy is not a virtue, it is a tactic. It is to be shown only when it serves a greater objective. Control. The moment it becomes habitual, you become exposed. Predictable. Weak. The ones you forgive today will return stronger tomorrow, and they will see your mercy not as nobility, but as permission to disobey again. A ruler who gives mercy too soon appears soft. A ruler who gives it too often becomes irrelevant. And a ruler who gives it to the wrong person becomes powerless. Machiavelli makes it clear. The prince must know when to be cruel, not for the pleasure of cruelty, but for the preservation of order. Mercy that causes instability is not mercy at all, it is self-sabotage dressed as virtue. A wise leader asks, will this act of forgiveness reinforce my authority, or weaken it? Will it bring peace, or embolden disobedience? Am I showing mercy to lead, or to be liked? Because being liked is a luxury, being feared is a requirement, and there lies the true paradox of power. Mercy, when given sparingly, becomes sacred. When denied wisely, it earns fear and stability. But when it is free, it is worthless. Machiavelli tells us, it is much safer to be feared than loved, if one must choose. Why? Because love is conditional. It fades. It changes. It disappears the moment your followers feel discomfort. But fear, real, calculated fear, creates boundaries they dare not cross. Understand this. True mercy is not the absence of cruelty. It is the timing of it. Picture a ruler who punishes quickly but forgives slowly. His subjects walk carefully. They obey not because they are threatened daily, but because they know what will happen if they step out of line. He rarely uses the sword, but the idea of it hangs above every conversation. That is the kind of mercy that rules empires. Now, contrast this with a leader who forgives every insult, tolerates every challenge, and extends kindness without caution. Soon, his advisors mock him, his soldiers defy him, his enemies multiply. He is not seen as noble, he is seen as knave. In truth, mercy is most powerful when it is withheld. When people know you are capable of punishment, but choose not to wield it. That choice gives you leverage. That restraint earns respect. But only if the punishment remains credible. So ask yourself, do your enemies fear your silence? Do your subordinates feel the weight of your disappointment? Or have your soft hands softened their fear? Machiavelli would say, let them praise your fairness, but make them obey your discipline. Let them remember your compassion, but never forget your wrath. In a world that begs you to be endlessly merciful, choose to be merciful with precision. Because power without boundaries is chaos, and mercy without fear is weakness. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of discernment. Niccolò Machiavelli, if you want to rule, do not seek power first. Craft the illusion of it. Reality bends before perception. A leader's strength is not in how much he controls, but in how much others believe he controls. The man who seems confident will be trusted more than the one who is competent. The one who appears invincible will be feared more than the one who has never been defeated. Perception becomes reality, especially in power. Machiavelli understood this better than any political thinker before or since. He knew that people do not follow truth. They follow the image of strength, and so, the ruthless leader must master the theater of power. You must dress it, walk it, sit in silence, as if your words are too expensive to waste. You do not chase status. You command attention, explain. Never justify. Appear above the petty noise. When you walk into a room, your presence must arrive 5 seconds before you do. You must cultivate a kind of gravitational field. Not through charm, not through noise, but through silent assertion. Machiavelli wrote, a prince should inspire fear in such a way that, if he does not win love, he avoids hatred. Because he can endure very well being feared while he is not hated. Now, consider this: a leader who rushes to explain himself appears insecure. A man who overshares his intentions becomes predictable. A ruler who shows all his weapons at once invites rebellion. But the one who controls what is seen, and more importantly, what is not seen, controls the entire game. Silence is perception's sharpest tool. The less they know, the more they imagine. And when they imagine, they usually fear the worst. That fear, unspoken, unexplained, is more powerful than any speech. Even your mistakes must be buried beneath a carefully maintained image. When you fail, deny. When you stumble, remain still. Do not explain. Control the narrative or destroy it entirely. This is not dishonesty. It is leadership. Because power is not about truth. Power is about control of belief. You must also weaponize symbols. The throne, the signature, the silence after your words. These are not decoration. They are signals. Power is never just held, it is performed. And remember, never show your full capability. Keep some strength off stage. People must wonder what else you're capable of. That uncertainty will do more for your authority than any open demonstration ever could. In a world of desperate noise, the one who speaks least, but is heard most, wins. Because when others are shouting to be noticed, the one who is already seen without trying becomes mythic. He becomes legend. So ask yourself, do people obey you because of what they see, or because of what they think you are? Do you carry silence like a sword? Have you mastered your performance? Or are you still living under the illusion that truth alone will earn you power? Machiavelli would laugh at that, because perception isn't decoration. It is the throne itself. Injuries ought to be inflicted all at once, so that, being tasted less, they offend less. Benefits ought to be given little by little, so that the flavor of them may last longer. Niccolò Machiavelli, in the world of power, waiting is weakness. Hesitation is interpreted not as caution, but as confusion. And confusion invites challenge. Machiavelli did not believe in passive defense. He believed in preemptive action. To survive, to thrive, to dominate, you must always strike first, not in anger, not in emotion, but with cold calculation. A prince who reacts is already behind. A ruler who waits to be betrayed before he punishes has already lost command. Power is not maintained by kindness or patience. It is held by force and foresight. You do not punish because they hurt you. You punish because they might hurt you. This is the art of Machiavellian strategy. Removing threats before they bloom. You don't wait for your enemies to sharpen their knives. You break their hands before they reach for them. A wise leader studies the room and calculates. Who is the loudest now? And who will be the loudest tomorrow? Then he acts. Quietly, efficiently, without announcement. By the time the court hears the whisper of rebellion, it is already extinguished. This principle applies far beyond kings and courts, in organizations, families, institutions, even social groups. Dominance is preserved through deterrence, not defense. You must become the player that no one wishes to challenge. Not because you are feared always, but because you are feared just enough. Consider Machiavelli's advice to Cesare Borgia. When Cesare took control of Romagna, he sent his brutal enforcer, Ramiro d'Orco, to crush opposition and restore order. But once the fear had taken root, Cesare executed his own enforcer, publicly and ruthlessly. To win the love of the people, what appears as mercy is often camouflage. You show grace only after your enemies are too weak to exploit it. Not before. This is the sequence: strike quickly. Strike decisively. Then smile and extend your hand. Because once your rivals are removed and the dust settles, even your ruthlessness can be reframed as necessary reform. History loves a strong winner, and those who survive your purge will rewrite your cruelty as clarity. But hesitate, and your enemies will not. Machiavelli warns that when power is shared or diluted, betrayal festers. Delay in punishment invites others to test your limits. Strike early, and no one dares to test you. Ask yourself, do you wait for problems to grow before you act? Are you hoping to be admired or respected? Do you still believe that fairness protects you? Understand this: fairness does not protect rulers. It entertains their enemies. Machiavelli makes it clear. A prince must learn to act against faith, against charity, against humanity, against religion, when it is necessary to preserve the state. That necessity is your compass. Not morality, not reputation, not emotion. Those who win do not ask, "Is this right?" They ask, "Is this necessary?" Because in the end, a power is not preserved by waiting for attacks. It is preserved by eliminating the possibility of them. Victory requires courage, yes. But Machiavellian courage is not found in battles won. It is found in threats never allowed to exist. So remember, mercy before victory is weakness. Mercy after dominance is just good optics. And silence after the strike is the final act of control. A wise ruler should not mind being called cruel when it is necessary to keep his subjects united and obedient. Niccolò Machiavelli: loyalty is the sweetest illusion in the game of power. Men speak of it with pride. They demand it from friends, allies, subordinates. But the Machiavellian leader sees it for what it truly is. Not a virtue, but a temporary agreement maintained only when it serves personal interest. Loyalty is never permanent. It is conditional, fragile, prone to change when fortunes shift. Therefore, a ruler who builds his empire on loyalty alone builds on sand. Machiavelli understood this human flaw, that men are loyal only when they are afraid, rewarded, or watched. And the moment these pillars weaken, so too does their allegiance. So what is the solution? You do not eliminate disloyalty. You manage it. And you do this by dividing the sources of influence beneath you. A prince must so conduct himself that his people will always be in need of the state and of him. This is the principle of divide to rule. Never allow factions to unify against you. Always keep their ambitions slightly opposed, their interests just out of alignment. Create a structure in which no one man or group can rise independently of you. Every ladder must pass through your hand. You must become the center of gravity. When rivals beneath you begin to form alliances, you do not confront them. You fracture them, feed suspicion into one ear, and offer favor to another. Never let unity settle. Stability is for peasants. Power is born in controlled instability. Your goal is not to create peace among men, but to create dependence on you. When the ambitious below know that they cannot succeed without your permission, they cease to rebel, not from love, but from calculation. Love fades. Fear calculates. A prince also avoids surrounding himself with equals. One strong subordinate can become a threat. Several strong subordinates can become a conspiracy. Instead, keep your lieutenants divided in purpose, competitive in spirit, and eager for your approval. They should look sideways at each other, but upward at you. This is not paranoia. It is strategy. If your advisors agree too easily, change one. If they grow too familiar, promote another. Even in friendship, keep hierarchy intact. For when men begin to feel equal, they soon begin to feel entitled. Even within a nation, the same principle applies. The wise ruler does not offer the people equality. He offers them order and identity, so long as they obey. Give them a common enemy, a distraction, a noble lie. Keep them looking outward or downward. never upward toward your throne. Divide to rule is not cruelty. It is a necessity, because unity without control turns into revolt, and freedom without hierarchy turns into chaos. So let them believe they are loyal. Let them sing your praises. But never believe their words. Believe their actions under pressure. And when that pressure reveals betrayal, strike quickly and publicly. But more importantly, don't wait for betrayal to expose itself. Engineer the conditions where loyalty is tested constantly, where obedience is rewarded, but independence is punished. In this way, your rule becomes unshakable, not because they love you, but because they need you, fear you, and cannot rise without you. Machiavelli never trusted loyalty. He used it. So ask yourself, who in your circle could defy you if they dared? Who is growing too unified, too confident, too essential? What rivalries can you quietly encourage today that will prevent rebellion tomorrow? Because control is not achieved by uniting men, but by ensuring they can never unite against you. And in the end, the throne is safest when all eyes are on each other, except yours. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Niccolò Machiavelli power does not only live in palaces or armies. It resides, first and foremost, in the minds of men. And if you do not control how they think about you, you have already lost. Machiavelli understood this with terrifying clarity. It is not your truth that matters. It is their perception. In a world of whispers and glances, of judgments made in shadows and alliances formed over rumors, the wise ruler does not wait to be understood. He does not hope to be seen accurately. He orchestrates the vision others see. He becomes the author of his own myth. Your image is your armor. If the people believe you are invincible, they hesitate to challenge you. If they believe you are decisive, they forgive your cruelty. If they believe you are destined, they explain away your sins. Power, when perceived correctly, makes its own logic. This is why the truly dominant are not loud. They are symbolic. Their every move becomes a message. Every silence a signal. Every appearance an event. Their life is a deliberate performance, and the stage is the world. You are not a person. You are a presence. But be wary if you do not master the story others tell about you. They will write one without you. And that story will be shaped by envy, ignorance, and fear. So how do you control the narrative? First, through consistency of persona. Machiavelli teaches us that a ruler must appear to be merciful, faithful, humane, upright, and religious. Even if he is none of these things internally. What matters is that the illusion is stable, predictable, unquestioned. It is not necessary to be good. It is necessary to appear good when useful, and appear strong when necessary. Second, through symbolic acts of power. Executions are not just punishments, they are reminders. Public rewards are not just kindness. They are warnings in disguise. This is who I favor. Learn the pattern. Your gestures must serve your legend, not your emotions. Third, through silencing contradiction. Machiavelli never advised tolerance for slander. Lies, when repeated, grow roots. When an enemy dares challenge your image, do not debate. Destroy their credibility. Ruin their reputation. Break them so no one else will try. The throne is built not on popularity, but on uncontested perception. In the modern world, the same principle rules. Leaders are crowned not with votes, but with visibility. Status is a costume worn with purpose. Influence is gained not by being right, but by being recognized, respected, and repeated. Even your weaknesses can become strengths. If you shape the narrative, cruelty becomes necessary reform, silence becomes mystique, arrogance becomes confidence. Control the words, control the symbols, control the interpretation, and you control reality itself. Ask yourself, what does your presence say when you enter the room? What story do others whisper when you leave it? Are you sculpting that perception, or being shaped by others? Understand this. He who tells the story controls the world. You can lose battles and still rule. If your myth remains intact, you can make mistakes and still command. If the narrative makes them part of your master plan. But once they stop believing the image, once they see the cracks, once the illusion dies, you are no longer feared. You are no longer followed. You are no longer king. So write your legend with precision. Perform with intention. And remember, the most powerful man is not the one who holds the sword, but the one they believe cannot be defeated. Because in the game of total control, perception is not everything. It is the only thing. Power does not reward the well-meaning. It does not bow to fairness, nor does it wait for the gentle-hearted to catch up. It moves with force, it bends perception, and it punishes hesitation. The throne is not given, it is taken, defended, and preserved, not with goodwill, but with wisdom sharpened by reality. Machiavelli did not teach cruelty for its own sake. He taught clarity, the kind of clarity only a ruler can afford. That people are not loyal by nature, they are loyal by necessity. That the masses do not follow kindness, they follow confidence, fear, and certainty. That silence can be louder than speeches, and a single gesture can anchor an entire regime. You win not by being loved. You win by becoming too important to be removed, too essential to challenge, too calculated to cross. This is not for everyone. Most will recoil at the harshness. They will preach about ideals while kneeling to those who wield real power. But you have seen behind the curtain. You understand now that dominance is a strategy, not an accident. You understand that emotions must be disciplined. Loyalties must be tested, rivals must be divided, myths must be curated, and perception must always serve your ambition. This is how the ruthless win. Quietly, strategically, without apology. So the next time you feel pressure to play fair, to explain yourself, to soften your edge, remember this: mercy makes you forgettable. Ruthlessness makes you immortal. The world does not need your softness. It respects your clarity. Step forward with intention. Move with silence. And if you must strike, strike in such a way that no one dares remember the face of defiance. This is not cruelty. This is Machiavellian order. Thank you for watching. If you seek to master the architecture of power, subscribe. And remember, the throne belongs to those who do not ask for it, but take it.